A massive shift is coming to the world of PC laptops. I mean, a battle that could totally redefine what you expect from your next computer. And it's being led by a company you definitely know, but they're stepping into a fight you probably never saw coming.
Just think about it for a second. If you've got a Windows laptop, who made that all-important chip inside? The CPU, the brains of the whole operation. For pretty much as long as most of us can remember, it's been a two-horse race. The entire Windows world, it was all built on their x86 architecture. That was just the law of the land, no question about it. But then Apple happened. They came along and proved there was a whole different way to do things. Their M-series chips, built on a totally different architecture called ARM, just deliver this incredible mix of power and efficiency. It really shook the PC market to its core. And now it looks like another giant is about to walk right through that crack. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how this is all unfolding. We'll start with that crack in the empire Apple created, then we'll unveil Nvidia's secret weapon. After that, we'll get into the three-way title fight for laptop dominance, map out Nvidia's grand strategy, and of course, finish up with what all this means for the next laptop you might buy. Okay, let's dive right in. To really get where we're going, we first have to understand this massive change in how modern computers are actually designed. For the longest time, performance laptops worked like this, right? You had your CPU from, say, Intel, and then a separate graphics card, your GPU, from someone else. And it worked, sure, but it's kind of inefficient. It creates more heat, it takes up a lot of space, and you get these little traffic jams as data tries to move between the two chips. The modern way, the way Apple really nailed, is the system on a chip, or SoC. Everything, CPU, GPU, memory, it's all baked onto one single elegant piece of silicon. This is the key to getting that next level performance and battery life, and this is the new battleground. So, that's the arena. Now let's meet the new gladiator and finally unveil Nvidia's secret weapon. So yeah, just to hammer this home, an SoC is the brain, the engine, and the creative muscle of a computer, all in one package. It's important because Nvidia's new entry, which is codenamed the N1X, well, it isn't just any SoC. From everything we're hearing, it's designed to be an absolute monster. So let's start with the CPU side. Leaks are pointing to the N1X having a 20-core CPU. And these aren't just any old cores. They're based on Nvidia's Grace architecture. That's the same powerhouse tech they use in their massive AI data centers. They are literally bringing server-grade computing down to a consumer laptop. But now, this is where things get really, really interesting. Let's talk about the other half of the chip, the GPU. The N1X is reportedly packing 6,144 CUDA cores. Now, for anyone who follows PC graphics, a number like that should make your jaw drop. This is not just some good enough integrated GPU. This is, well, it's on a whole other planet. And here is the kicker. Let this sink in. According to reports, that huge core count is the same as the desktop GeForce RTX 5070 graphics card. So what Nvidia has done is basically fuse the DNA of a high-end desktop gaming card directly onto its laptop processor. This changes everything. So we have our new challenger. It's time to bring it into the ring. Let's see how this N1X chip actually stacks up against the reigning champs, Intel and AMD, in the big fight for 2026 and beyond. I mean, when you put them all side by side like this, the story just jumps off the page. You've got Intel and AMD sticking with their tried and true x86 architecture, while Nvidia is making that big leap to ARM. But just look at the iGPU cores. Nvidia's 6,144 CUDA cores, it just absolutely dwarfs what we're expecting from AMD and Intel. And maybe most importantly, Nvidia brings its massive, dominant software ecosystem, CUDA and DLSS, that developers all over the world already know and love. Okay, so what about that raw CPU horsepower? Well, even in these super early leaked benchmarks, the N1X is right there in the thick of it. It's holding its own against the absolute best high-end mobile chips that Intel and AMD have coming. So no, this isn't just a GPU powerhouse, it's shaping up to be a legitimate all-around contender. So the hardware is obviously impressive, but a great chip is nothing without a brilliant strategy behind it. How does Nvidia actually plan to win this fight? Because it's about a lot more than just silicon. Nvidia's playbook here is threefold, and it's incredibly smart. First, they're taking their multi-billion-dollar R&D from their data center business and just repurposing it for consumers. That's super efficient. Second, they're playing their ace card, that huge software moat with CUDA that pretty much powers all of AI and high-end graphics.
And third, their timing is just perfect. They're jumping in right as Microsoft's version of Windows for ARM chips is finally getting good enough for mainstream apps and, yes, even games. And make no mistake, this is not a short-term gamble. Leaked roadmaps show a really clear commitment. We're expecting N1X laptops to actually hit shelves in the second quarter of 2026. And look, they're already planning the sequel, the N2 series for 2027. This is a multi-year assault on the laptop market.
Okay, so let's get to the most important part. What does all this high-stakes corporate drama actually mean for you, the person who just wants to go out and buy a great laptop? Well, the upsides here are incredibly exciting. We are talking about the potential for super thin, super light laptops that can actually play AAA games at high settings. Laptops with desktop-level graphics and AI power, but without all the heat, the weight, and the terrible battery life of a separate GPU. And best of all, real, honest-to-goodness three-way competition could finally spark a new wave of innovation, and maybe, just maybe, some better prices for all of us. But let's be realistic, it's not a guaranteed win. There are some serious hurdles. That same AI boom that's making Nvidia so much money, it's causing memory shortages that could make these first laptops really expensive. And software on Windows on ARM, while it's way better, it's still a bit of a question mark for some key programs. And you can bet Intel and AMD are not just going to sit back and let this happen. Which leaves us with the really big question. For decades, that Intel Inside sticker on your laptop wasn't just a logo, it was a symbol of how an entire industry was structured. With Nvidia now throwing its full weight into the ring, joining Apple and Qualcomm on this ARM-based front, you have to wonder, is that era, the era of the old x86 duopoly, finally coming to an end? Well, the next 18 months are going to give us the answer.